I need more guy friends. Lazing around the office one evening, Mike and Kelly eating Tootsie Rolls, and me giving them hell for eating them. They're a chocolate cheat. They pretend to be chocolate, but they're not. Throughout the evening, I continued to tease them for eating those parodies of chocolate that they kept happily offering me every couple of bites, and me bitterly complaining that they hadn't gotten me anything I liked. Mike sat at his usual place in front of the computer, working at a new bit of programming. Kelly and I, the ever-vigilant friends, were there for moral support, and to point and laugh when the coding went wrong. Just an ordinary evening in my house. After our long, forced confinement, we had reached a familiarity point in our relationship where we could finish each other's sentences, mimic with skill each other's mannerisms, and shared inside jokes that only we understood. We had months earlier begun mirroring each other, often without even noticing it. We were close in a way that only confinement can bring, and we were enjoying it. Weaving throughout computers and candy offerings, we talked about this and that, Kelly's work, my daycare, Mike's love life, or, I should say, lack thereof, the never-ending divorce, and all the other small topics that were common among our conversations. As our conversation meandered around, Kelly suddenly announced, "I saw Todd today." I should probably mention she had a sort of boyfriend named Todd as well. He came into the store while I was working. Barely looking up from the computer, Mike mumbled around a mouthful of Tootsie Rolls. "Say anything?" Shaking her head, she said, "He walked right up to my line, with his new girlfriend." Looking up and giving her full attention, mine too for that matter, this was serious business for our group, he exclaimed, "You're kidding me!" Shaking his head woefully and seeing her continue distress, offered her a bit of candy to soothe her misery, which she completely ignored. "Serious!" Sitting upright at this point, putting her hand on her hip for emphasis. "Can you believe that shit?" In full righteous mode now that she had our attention. "Oh my God!" Mike exclaimed, mirroring her indignation, began to bob his head in time with hers. Watching this, I began to giggle, quietly. I really shouldn't laugh, I kept telling myself. Kelly was upset. "I know, right?" Getting herself worked up, she continued with her story. "Just showed up at my work with his girlfriend, smiling at me, knowing I can't say a damn thing because I'm at work. I mean, what was I supposed to do?" Leaning back in her chair now in a huff, crossing her arms. "Asshole." And like a download, Mike displayed full righteous indignation that would have made any woman proud, and with 3 snaps of the fingers, up, left, and right, exclaimed, "You know it, girl." With the head still going, threw up his right hand and said, "Just tell him to talk to the hand, 'cause the face ain't listening." And I exploded in laughter. Mike stopped dead mid-bob, stared at his hands like it was some foreign object he'd never seen before, while a look of incredulous horror swept across his face. Kelly, after taking in the whole scene, joined me in my laughter as we watched Mike's transformation. With her anger quickly forgotten, she leaned forward with eager anticipation of what he might do next. Dropping his hand and swiftly standing up, his eyes began to dart around the room, with a look of horror firmly intact on his face. He cried to the ceiling, "What have you done to me?" Not really expecting an answer to that question, we remained silent. Absolutely fascinated by his meltdown, both of us watched quietly, wondering where it was going. Pushing back his chair and running his fingers through his hair, he began stalking through the room. "That's it," beginning to look desperate now. "You can't expect me to hang around with you two all the time. I'm a man. I need guy friends." Kelly and I solemnly nodded back at his announcement. Yes, of course, he needed more guy friends. And we tried. We really tried. But we couldn't keep that silent support up for long before we began laughing again at his pacing antics. Stopping to glare, he forcefully added, "I need my pool cue. I need a beer. I need to do manly things. I need more guy friends." Laughing so hard I had tears rolling down my face, I said, "That's right, girlfriend. You need to get you some of those." He began a quick head bob, noticed what he was doing, and forcefully stopped himself with a shake of the head, and he shouted, "Oh, you think this is funny, do you?" Both Kelly and I nodded. Stopping his pacing only long enough to give us a disgusted glare, he turned his back on us to snatch up his pool cue in the wake of our laughter and announced, "That's it," pointing at us. "I'm going to the bar. I'm going to get drunk, play pool, and maybe get into a bar fight. And I'm gonna get me some guy friends." Pausing to catch his breath and wail at the ceiling, "You're ruining me as a man!" Panting in his distress, he made a quick "you're out" sign with his hands and exclaimed, I'm out of here." Being the good friends that we are, we supported him in his life choices with our laughter, waving him towards the door. With a final glare to both of us, he gathered up what remained of his shattered mandem and stalked out. "That's right. Tell it like it is, girlfriend," I hollered at us, quickly retreating back, unable to help myself. Without even looking back, he gave us one final flip of the bird before disappearing into the night, with our laughter hot on his heels behind him. I hope you enjoyed the story from Wine Comes in Six Packs. If you'd like to read more about Mike, me, Kelly, and everyone else in my books, please pick it up. It's available everywhere.